Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. Once again, I came up with another really cool idea. Thank you. Yeah, this is my list of who I feel are some of the coolest rock stars through the years. And there's more than 12, so you're also gonna have your own choices. So just realize this is just my own personal opinion, and nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I just feel that all 12 of these uh, rock stars are very, very cool. And I've ranked them from number 12 to who I feel is the coolest of all the rock stars. So, and I'd love your thoughts in the comment section below on, maybe some of the rock stars that aren't mentioned in my list. I'm so excited to find out who I've chosen. So I'll write these down so I can keep track of the numbers. Number 12, there's actually two photos of this woman. And what is cool? I was even looking it up. And just for me personally, it's somebody that is, I guess, has kind of an attitude, doesn't give a F kind of an attitude sometimes. They just, they play by their own rules. They don't, and this is partially the music these artists create, but it's more just their personality and the look of them too. So it's kind of a combination. Kind of like a combination pizza. So first up, number 12. There's two photos of this female rocker. And the first is Grace Slick. Look at the attitude right there. Giving you the finger. And also one of my all-time favorite female singers too. But she's always, just kind of gone by her own rules for the most part. Kind of forgetting the some of the Jefferson Starship years though. But yeah, in the 60s and the early 70s, she was pretty damn cool. And even later on, she still has the same cool attitude, as you can see. Number 11 is Frank Zappa. That's right. Once again, just the kind of, he did what he wanted to do in his whole career. He followed his own rules. He is one of the true, and I also want to do a video on this at some point. Musical geniuses. He is definitely one of them. And yeah, just, he lived his whole life just to create so much music. He was one cool dude. Number 10, Chrissie Hynde of the Pretenders. Once again, just from the videos I've seen of her and, interviews and all that, she's just, what I like about these artists is they're real, I guess. That's another thing. They're cool and they're not putting on airs or anything. They are who they are. And I feel Chrissie Hynde, another one of my all-time favorite female singers from Pretenders, she just is cool. Number nine is, yeah, I was thinking of the Beatles. Paul McCartney is my favorite artist of all time, but is he cool? He could be cool, but uh, not usually. Ringo is kind of cool. And of course, John Lennon could be cool. But I think of all four Beatles. George Harrison, once again, he didn't, he didn't take any BS through the years. He was himself. Uh, he once again had a I don't give a F attitude towards life, I guess. But that's why we love George. He was George, the real guy. And number 8 is, yeah, Prince. Once again, such a talented, a musical genius for sure. And people used to mock him because he changed his name into that symbol, but he had good reasons to. Now, later on, it's like he was smart. He's smarter than we thought he was, and he had his reasons for changing it to that symbol name. And yeah, his whole attitude was cool. That's the thing too about these artists that are cool. Some of them, they have their people that don't like them because they're just being themselves, with their sometimes they don't have a great attitude, and you'll see some of these artists coming up that sometimes don't have a great attitude. So he's number 8. Number 7 is, now talk about a great attitude. Yeah, Lou Reed. I just love the guy. In fact, last night I was listening to one of his final albums, Ecstasy, and I think it's one of my favorite albums of his. I didn't care too much for Set the Twilight Reeling, the one before that. I need to listen to that more, I guess. But he's always been, he's been kind of maybe a little ignorant in some interviews and nasty or whatever, but he was real, and for me, he was cool. And he really did love music. I remember reading about when he was remastering all of his albums shortly before his death, and he would get emotional, listening back to the music. He did have his tender, loving side. You can't fool Leslie. So number 6. Yeah, Jim Morrison. I always remember the Ed Sullivan Show at the end, that one pose he did. Uh, just I can't do it. But in the leather jacket and all that, he just always looked cool. He had once again a I don't give a F attitude. So he was cool. Number 5 is Jimi Hendrix. What a cool guitar player too. Yeah, he was always, in all the photos, and not much more to say. He was cool. Number 4. Who do you think the top 4 are? And who do you think is going to be number 1? Let me know once I get to number 1 if you thought that's who I was going to pick for number 1. And don't lie. The number 4 is Bob Dylan. Once again, Bob has always been Bob. He's never put on airs or anything. He does what he wants to do, and even in the 60s, in interviews and all that, he would play with the interviewer. He has a great sense of humor that some people don't seem to realize. And look at him, he's wearing glasses. Now that's cool. Number 3 is, yeah, I think I know who it is. It is, starts with a K, I believe. Yeah, Keith Richards. Through the years, I don't know. And I've seen him with fans on the street and all that. He just seems to be a very nice guy. Everybody kind of jokes about him and the issues he's had through the years with drugs. And I guess he likes to drink too and smoke. But he's still with us, and we're lucky to have him still with us. And yeah. If you were a friend of, if Keith Richards was a friend of yours, that would be a good friend, right? And he's cool. Ooh, we're down to number 2. Yeah, number 2 and number 1. Like number 2 could almost be number 1. But he's number 2. It is. Elvis Presley. As I've said before, for me, he is the greatest live entertainer of all time. Just watch some of his footage and some of the reactions on YouTube, and he just sang straight from the soul. And yeah, he's always been cool. Even I know he did those stupid '60s movies and all that, but just overall, he was a very cool guy. So number 1 is, who do you think it is? Who's missing? Let's find out. Oh no. Sorry, wrong picture. This is so embarrassing. I don't know how that came in. That's the very first picture I posted on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Larry Graves. The link will be somewhere in my description. But yeah, that was the very first photo. I thought that was a cool photo. I'm not a rock star, but if I was, I think I'd be cool. Anyway, let's go to number 1. And somebody out there is going to be very, very happy that I chose. David Bowie. That's right, Glenn Kellaway from the basement. And that is sadly his last, or one of his very last photos. And look at him. He was, yeah. Yeah, just throughout the years, and all of the music he created, and he just always, if he was in a group of people, he would always stand out, even if I was in the group with him, believe it or not. But yeah, I think overall he is the coolest rock star that ever was, and yeah, that's my choice. But you can have your own choice. It's okay. So thanks for watching. I'm really looking forward to some of the cool rock stars that I didn't choose in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.